Oh, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I don't care if they won. I don't wanna. But I know I have to. Because this is life. I know I'm going to have to say it over and over and over again in this video. But I know it applies. It's appropriate. And damn it, folks, it's right. Deep down, you don't want it, but you really, really do. You know what I'm talking about. You know it because for some reason you fucking love it because your parents, your family, somebody, a friend hated you with every fiber of their being, and you should remember that when it comes time to make the decision on whether to resuscitate or not. You should always select no if they were responsible for making you a fan of, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, Bears football! Because it's a win, but it doesn't feel like it. When your number one overall pick, future face of the franchise quarterback, goes 14 of 29 for 93 yards, looking lost at times, disheveled, balls batted down at the line of scrimmage. You know what you call that, don't you? Bears football! When you give big money in the offseason to a running back relative to the running back position, and they, through 3 quarters, have 8 carries for a whopping 6 yards, you know what you call that? Bears football! When you have Coleman Shelton fill the traditional role of a Ryan Poles offensive lineman, particularly a center, you might as well call Coleman Shelton Snow Bunny as much as the black cock gobbler he was fucking taking up the ass today from Jeffrey Simmons and Sebastian Joseph Day and whoever the fuck else was run up against him. That's Bears football! When your number 9 overall pick wide receiver Rome Odunze catches 1 pass today and it was off of some weird funky fucking deflection, and then he immediately fumbles it only to have Tevin Jenkins have to recover the fumble. Bears football! When the only 2 touchdowns scored today are on a fucking block punt returned by a Simone Biles' husband for a touchdown, and some ridiculous ass, one of the dumbest decisions I think I've seen in years by a quarterback, mayonnaise man Will Levis himself, to Tyreek Stevenson. Bears football! When the only other points you score are on field goals, Bears football! When it looks like the only offensive identity you were trying to establish today were 2 things. 1, that you're not going to be able to develop Caleb Williams at all, and 2, we can't run the football. Usually that last one wouldn't fit, but we're going to make it fit. Bears football! Letting your opponent get out to a 17-point lead or whatever the fuck it was, and letting Will Levis at some point look good. Bears football! 3rd and 29 screen passes. Bears football! I could go on and on and on. The bottom line is, yes, the Chicago Bears were victorious today, 24-17 over the Tennessee Titans. But you really feel like this is a win, Bears fans? Does this really, truly feel good? You might be saying to yourself, thank God they won. Somehow this happened. How did this happen? Questioning so many things in your life, but unfortunately not up to and including why the fuck you still persist on being a Bears fan, apparently. It's that all too familiar feeling of the 80s, the 90s, the Lovie Smith era. They all called and they want their style of Bears football back. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't even know what else to say, honestly. As you look at this performance today, like DeAndre Carter, I got to give him his props. He was certainly a hero here, right? A couple of nice returns, especially that dynamic kickoff or whatever it was. The opposite of Velus Jones Jr., who decided, hey, I can make the dynamic kickoff dynamic by having one of the fucking stupidest fumbles on a kickoff you'll ever see. Eating up a roster spot to do abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Nothing. Darrell Taylor was just recently acquired via trade, and he certainly seemed to establish himself as the complimentary edge rusher to Montez Sweat. He was making plays. He got at least one sack that I can recall and made a couple other, pressures and plays. Just nice, right? But if you were worried about the interior of this offensive line, you should remain worried. Like Nate Davis, I think he started, he was healthy. They realized he sucked. They put in Ryan Bates. Coleman Shelton again, we're going to call him Snow Bunny, as much cock gobbler as he took up the ass today. He was god-awful. All the concerns and fears about the interior of this offensive line remain valid, which is even worse considering Caleb is just a tad over 6 feet, right? Got to get this guy some throwing lanes. Got to find a way to manufacture throwing lanes. Why the fuck would you want to do that? I don't know. The defensive line, the interior, certainly isn't impressive to me today. Billings had a couple of flashes. I know Dexter had a sack, right? But in general, it took a while for them to get going. Lack of depth is a concern. Keenan Allen goes out with an injury later in the game. Keenan Allen drops a touchdown pass. So even when Caleb does make the rare good play on this day in what was, for all intents and purposes, not just on him, but he is a part of the story here, folks, a disastrous debut. This is fucking disastrous. You're looking for flashes. You're looking for something you can hold on to. And yeah, he had a couple of nice throws, but they were too few and far between. Like, he was shoddy from an accuracy standpoint, and the play calling was absolutely atrocious. What the fuck was that today? I've been bouncing around what my nickname for Shane Waldron's going to be. Right now, it's got to be the Wizard Waldron. 3rd and 29, what do you do? Screen pass, bippity boppity boo! Like, what the fuck are you doing? 3rd and 29, wide receiver screen, except it's to a fucking backup tight end when you only need another 5 or 7 yards, where the defense is going to give that to you. And hell, Keenan Allen was streaking open over the middle of the field on that play, takes points off the board. Then you're looking at it, hey, just made a big play happen. You get into position, and instead of, like, after DeAndre Carter's return is what I'm talking about here, instead of saying, hey, you know what, the Titans are on their heels a little bit. Maybe we could start resting back a little bit of momentum in this game and maybe take a shot deep and go for the home run ball. A deep ball? What's that? Nice and short is what I do. Bippity boppity do. Wizard Waldron! I mean, I got to imagine Luke Getsy was watching this and be like, put him up. Put him up. I told you the strategy would work. It's genius. It's brilliant. Don't take any chances. Run the ball. 1st and 10. Halfback dive. 2nd and long. Halfback dive. And then, when you sit there and Caleb Williams actually completes a pass and it's 2nd and 1, what do? You fucking pitch it out, multiple yard loss, and just everything about it is fucking stupid. And then you're trying to throw it deep to DeAndre Carter. It's like your 5th wide receiver on 3rd and long or 3rd and 4. And shit just doesn't make any fucking sense. When they were in the red zone early on in the 4th quarter, they're down 17-10. It's like 4th and 2. You literally don't know if you're going to get back in that position again offensively, and they technically didn't. They got bailed out by Will Levis being a dumb dick in this offense. Or this defense, just having to save the fucking day at the end. They're kicking a goddamn field goal to pull within 4 points. And then next time they get the ball, I guess they get into a similar spot. But the point I'm getting at here is this, is that they're playing not to lose instead of to win. There's a problem with these fucking defensive-minded head coaches, by and large. They're too goddamn risk-averse, too goddamn scared. And their offensive play calling philosophy from their offensive coordinator mirrors that shit. Where the fuck are the bootlegs to try and get Caleb Williams different throwing lanes? Oh, I know where they are. They're barely being called, and when they are, he's got defensive linemen or edge rushers in his fucking face. Like, there are positives here. A win is a win, and it's week one, and a lot of times week one can be really ugly, and especially on the offensive side of the ball. And God knows for the Bears, it was horrendously ugly on the offensive side of the ball today. This was a disastrous debut by Caleb Williams, no matter how much you want to spin it. It just fucking was. You can't win them all. They won this one, but it certainly wasn't a victory in the Caleb is going to be the unquestionable guy going forward category. It's one game. No reason to overreact or panic, but it's 4,000 yards or bust. But this shit looks like the previous regime. This looks like a 2,500 yard passing season. If this continues, you got to be able to figure out something. DJ Moore, 5 receptions, 36 yards. How does that happen? How does that happen? This is a team that was supposed to, at least if anything else, be able to run the ball. DeAndre Swift with 8 carries for 6 yards through 3 quarters. And if it wasn't for his last 2 runs, adding 24 to the mix, it would have looked even worse than it was, and it was really bad. Just unbelievable. Like, this feels like the type of dreaded season you can expect. A 10-11 win affair where the offense is really hit or miss, up or down one week to the next, and the defense and the special teams have to bail them out. Boy, Bears fans, where have we heard that shit before? Oh, I know. And I'm going to say it again. Because I have to. I'm obliged to at this point. And you know it's right. Bears football! And oh, it gets better next week, Sunday night in prime time, because we just have to put the Bears in fucking prime time, because that never is a bad idea, right? They got to go down to Texas and take on C.J. Stroud and the fucking Houston Texans. They show up looking like this against that team, a possible championship contending team, they're going to get the brakes beat off of them in prime time on Sunday night. Like, you had 2 weeks to prepare exclusively for this game. And this was the result. This was the outcome. So on the one hand, we can make excuses about how it's early and everybody's kicking the rust off and everything else. But these are the types of games that are a direct reflection of the coaching. The defense certainly got better in the second half. That is true. But in the first half, they were totally and completely pantsed after that first drive. Like, that first drive, you're like, wow. The second drive, you're like, wow. And then you're like, oh, there's the Eberflush defense. And the offense had no clue, no game plan, no identity. And if you say, well, of course they did, well, whatever the fuck that was, certainly doesn't seem to fit that category. That was bullshit. Enough of the Bears football. It's time to play 21st century football, damn it. This is a win, yes, but it is not a win to feel excited about. Damn it.